How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the Gil Podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with. On today's podcast, I want to talk about this feeling that a lot of us get, especially us creators, the feeling of being lost and not knowing what to do, where to go. I got a text message from a friend and she said, "I'm afraid to work hard in the wrong direction." And I wanted to make a podcast about the feeling of being lost and just not knowing what to do. So this was also just a perfect timing for that. And I responded to her and I said, I don't think there's a wrong direction. If you get lost and end up somewhere, you'd know that place isn't for you. And you might even gain some experience points. Just treat it like a RPG, like a video game. But honestly, I just was saying that there's really no wrong or right, especially in regards to your journey. Not saying that you have to willingly put yourself through these hard things, and I'm saying that guaranteed, satisfaction guaranteed. If you go through some stress or anxiety or some trauma, you're gonna be better, or your money back. No, I'm just saying that sometimes you have to do the hard thing or just do something, because you might end up learning that isn't for you, or learning that, hey, this thing is for you. You just have to apply yourself more, or learn more about this particular thing, or ask for help. I think there's always a solution to a problem. The solution might not be what you're looking for, but I think about video games all the time. There's this saying, the side missions in life, your job is a side quest, but at the end of a side quest, you get a reward. It might not be, this ancient sword that, you're able to use and kill the next boss easily. Sometimes it might be, but it might just be that one particular thing that you used in conjunction with this ancient sword to take off the next boss. A lot of times I treat my full-time job as a side mission. I've been working at this job for about 14 years, and a lot of people would say, wow, I can't believe I can't work anywhere that I don't like. I have to have friends at my job. I have to have there's just so many different things that people require to work somewhere. I don't hate my job. I remember I used to hate my job. I used to dread going there. And then I realized the future, the things that I'm building, how it funds, how it takes care of my family, how I'm able to help my mom, help my dad, my mother-in-law. The job seemed to be a really, really good, and also it taught me a lot about patience. It taught me a lot about just retirement, 401k, and all those other things, because I got to see a lot of coworkers who been working there longer than I've been alive. I've worked with people who I was born in 1989, so I'm 33 years old, and I got to work with human beings. I got to work with coworkers who have been working at this job before I was born. I knew this guy, really nice dude, who's been working at this place since 1985 or 1984. And it's crazy. And just listening to the amount of knowledge and experience. And yeah, you can get knowledge and experience from a podcast. Probably not this, but you can get a lot of knowledge and experience from ChatGPT. You can get knowledge and experience from a seminar, that you're going to pay willingly. But I'm going to bet $100,000. There's no better experience or knowledge than experience gained without you searching for it. There's this sense of appreciation that life is this beautiful thing where it's I didn't know I needed to know this. And you just grasp it and you understand it and you appreciate it because it's the perfect time. I got to work with some guys, like I said, who were just sitting down with me, patient, understood what I had going on in my life, understood the timing, understood my passions, understood my tenacity, my attitude, and were able to talk to me in the way that I could receive it. Like they've seen so many different type of human beings out there. They work with different type of people, and here they are giving me this knowledge where I least expected it. And believe me when I tell you, for years I thought I was working hard in the wrong direction, and I don't think that I would be where I am now if I wasn't working in this direction. And it's really hard to think about it that way, especially when things aren't panning out. I like to think about it that way. I know I'm such a toxic optimist. I'm just so optimistic. Like I could be in hell, and I'll say, "Wow, at least I don't have to pay for a sauna anymore." You know, like or at least there's. I just don't really see um, the bad in a lot of things. One of my favorite animes, Berserk, the protagonist, Guts, he was in the heat of a battle. He slaughtered over 100 men, and he was he was impaled, shot with arrows, still fighting. And he said to himself, a lot of anime, they do enter monologues. And he said, "What am I doing here in this miserable place?" And he asked, like, am I fighting for, this other character to prove that I love her? Am I fighting for this other character, the antagonist, to prove that I'm loyal to him? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this because of my upbringing, to say that I'm filled with anger and anguish and I have to prove to my men and my team that I can do this? Like, what am I doing this for? Why am I putting myself through this atrocities and stress and anxiety? And it was a beautiful question because it's something that I think about all the time. And he ended this inner monologue by just saying, "No time for thinking. I just have to do what I came here to do. And that is to fight and win this battle." And that's how I treat a lot of my camera gigs, podcast production. Like I'll be listening to a podcast that I'm filming, and the client is talking about mattresses and how mattresses are something and just weird and all the different type of springs. And I'm just like, what am I doing here? All right, just don't worry about it. Do this, finish the job, and move on and be done with it. And later on, you get to evaluate what you can do better next time, or how can you get better clients? What did you learn from these people? Well, I learned that I don't like listening to people talk about mattresses for like 40 minutes or an hour. And that's what I said earlier. I don't really believe that there is a wrong direction. Might not be what you expected, but I feel like you have to have gotten to a point where you say, well, this isn't for me. Let me either turn around or keep going and choose better clients, choose better friends, choose better partners, choose a better job. But I still feel like turning around isn't even like the right term, because you've gotten to that point, gain knowledge, gain experience, and now you're moving on from it. So I wouldn't even say turning around. I would just say moving on. So like, for example, I've worked with a client recently, and they're in a different city, a part of actually a different state. And there's one thing that I was learning was that it's okay to say no to things. Like, money is cool. Money is great. I really love working and getting paid for like my knowledge and my experience. But there's one thing that I really need experience on, is just saying no. And I told this client that I'm not going to be able to fulfill his, the work that he needs me to do, simply because a lot of the work requires me to film it, record it myself. And he's doing it remotely. Like, he wants me to do everything remotely. He's in a different state. And in the midst of me, I said yes. I said, yeah, sure. Let's do the first video. Let's knock it out and just try it out. Tried it out. I did the job, completed it as instructed. And at the end, I told him, hey, by the way, I won't be able to do this again due to these circumstances. As mentioned before, it is yeah, moving on. I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. But it was great to work with you. It was great to produce this content with you. And sure enough, I could have said no to begin with, but again, I'm such a toxic optimist. I have to see it for myself. I have to believe that there's hope that this could work. And I feel like you have to go through things to learn to be better. And now I feel like I'm moving on from that. And if I do work with another client in a different state, I would know how to go about it. And as a matter of fact, this is how I deal with clients now. So before, I would get a client to hit me up on Instagram, they'll email me, call me, or text me, and they'll tell me the day that they need the event, that they need me there, what type of podcast they want. And I would send them an invoice. They'll pay the invoice, deposit, or whatever the case is. And I'll just show up. I mean, of course, we'll do like a phone conversation or a text thread. But now I don't bother with that anymore, because what ends up happening, I end up having a long conversation with people, like an hour conversation about a bar mitzvah or some type of business shower. So it's like, okay, let me first save myself time by creating a questionnaire form. And this is and this is also why it's important to have other content creators that you talk to as well. And that's something that I learned. Like, there are other people that exist that do the same thing that I'm doing, maybe even different stuff. You're able to piggyback and nitpick like certain things that they're doing and apply it to the things that you're doing. 2 weeks ago, I had a woman from another state hit me up on Instagram and inquire about me doing some work for her. Before I gave her my rate, I told her, hey, are you willing to fill out a questionnaire? She's like, sure. I sent her the link, and she never like signed it up. And the link, it's like a questionnaire. It says what exactly I'm doing, when is the event. And the beautiful thing is, I like it because it gets me to have all the information that I need for the work that I'm being hired for. The date, the time, key figures I need to focus on, key aspects, wardrobe, all these other cool intricacies that might not be apparent right away. Like, I've been to some weddings or some events, and it's been like, you have to wear a specific color, or, hey, by the way, it's no outlets or no phones or no flash, or it's completely dark in the room. And I didn't know that. So this person didn't fill out the questionnaire, but they're berating me with text messages and calls. And I was like, listen, please fill out the questionnaire. And the beautiful thing is, now I'm able to save myself from the burden of becoming somebody's friend or buddy, because that's what ends up happening. A lot of people, they just start talking to you a lot and just start sharing thoughts and ideas. And then you have to like go through all those long text threads to find out the address and all this other stuff. So I learned that through another creator. And the thing is, I told this other creator that I used to do that when I first started photography, but I don't know why I stopped. But I'm happy I'm now re-implementing it, because this is going to save me a lot of headache. And I have a friend who was going through this same particular thing, people not taking, them seriously, people not willing to pay. And what ended up happening was, when the going got tough, this person just quit photography altogether. And it was really sad, because me and this person has done weddings together. We've shot seminars together. We did a funeral together. We've filmed podcasts together. And when this person ventured off on their own after they became confident in themselves as a photographer, videographer, they were given the worst storm of just horrible events. equipment being stolen, um, equipment being broken, or clients not paying, clients not being happy with the work. It was a lot of stuff driving clients canceling last. It was just so much, a lot of things that was not in their control. But I told them, this is just the beginning. Like, you have to get over this hump. You have to learn, implement the mistakes that you've made, try to correct them. And they just felt as if the photography is too hard, and it's obviously not for them, and they're going to put their efforts in another direction. And what ends up happening ultimately is you drive up a hill, spent all the gas to drive up the hill with all your gear and equipment, all to just turn around and drive in another direction, wasting gas, wasting time. And I don't, I guess my initial fear is wasting time, because I love being alive. That sounded so weird, but I really love life, and time is precious. Like, I do not like to waste time, but I love wasting time. Like, a lot of the content creation stuff, it's like, I'm in my room right now. I'm in my studio, and I could be doing something else, but I'm not. I'm doing this. My time is invested in this. I'm talking to several other people. My wife is texting me. My friends are texting me. I just had a contractor here, and I took the time out to do this. And I don't, even though I might scrap this podcast, maybe not, for the 20 minutes or 19 minutes that's been recording, but I'm getting better. I'm not going to delete the recording and not record again. This is just, there's been like so many times where I'm recording and then the program that I'm using crashes or something, or I get a call, a client calls me, and then I forget to, I hit stop recording, and then I close the app, or something weird happens. I'm not going to let that stop me. So I truly believe that there's really no wrong direction. Like, there's always something that you can learn from this mistake. And to quote another anime character, Isaac Netero, he's this anime character from this show called Hunter x Hunter. I don't really want to even say anime anymore, because I noticed that there's like this weird negative connotation when it comes to anime, or when you reference something from a video game or something, like, people tend to like put their guard down. I could only say that because I know it's true, because I do consultations with a wide variety of people. And when I tell them I'm quoting when I tell them a quote and I tell them it's from an anime, they tend to be like, "Oh, that's stupid." Anyways, that was a long rant. There's this character, Isaac Netero. He said this thing before he died. He said he's talking to this antagonist named Miriam, and Miriam is this monster guy. But he's not really bad, though. It's complicated. Anyways, Netero has a bomb. Oh gosh, this is a spoiler. If you haven't seen it, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's animes from like the 1990s anyway, so what the hell? If you haven't watched it, it's on you. You probably never would watch it anyway. And Netero says, I'm grateful for everything that has brought me to this point and to you. He says that to the villain, the guy who he's fighting, the guy he's risking his life, his limbs for. He said, I'm grateful for you. Like, I'm grateful for everything that has brought me to this very point to where I am going to die. And I know you're like, what the hell are you even talking about? But to me, it's just so romantic and beautiful, because that's exactly how I've always thought. Through all the bullies, through all the schools that I went to, through all the jobs, the hiring, the firing, I've always been grateful, because it's taught me something. And thinking about it as if I'm going in the wrong direction is, to me, I can't really see any direction being wrong or right. It is what it is. I just wanted to record that and share that. Hope y'all enjoyed it. This was a bit of a more mental therapy Gil podcast. Nothing too technical or photography. I did reference content creation though. If you like this podcast episode, please be sure to sign up to my newsletter where I share a bunch of cool things. I'm not going to be giving some therapy talks, but share some like cool new findings online, new AI tools, things that I'm currently working on, projects and whatnot. You get like a sneak peek to that. You can go to gildormius.com/newsletter and just do that. I also have it in the description below. Please let me know what you thought. You could email me at contact@gildormius.com. I also have that in the podcast description. Yeah, I've just had really fun with this episode. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a nice one, and I'll see y'all on Twitter or later. I'll see y'all later.